So, a few weeks back I was doing my daily sanctioned doom scroll on the website formerly known as Twitter. A mutual and fellow retro FPS enjoyer, Rami, had posted about this Doom WOD, which I had totally forgotten about. The Euros were on with England headed to the finals, and they definitely did not bring it home. However, Sir Lewis Hamilton did win the British Grand Prix. Add to that, the UK election had just gone down, and the Tories suffered an absolutely embarrassing loss to Labour in a total landslide. There was also a bunch of Orwellian type stuff about social media arrests and riots going on too, like the Irish were standing with the loyalists. Like, what? Are you guys okay over there? It feels like something's happening here, like the stars are aligning or something. Then, a couple of weeks later, the Re-Remaster of Doom dropped, which was a brilliant achievement from Bethesda, Night Dive Studios, and Machine Games. Along with the new content like Legacy of Rust, I just can't even begin to describe the pure joy I had playing modern multiplayer Doom Deathmatch with all the plebs. Like, get wrecked. With this release, they added this fun little feature where you could upload your own mods to the game for full crossplay support on all platforms. After which I'm assuming Bethesda probably had to ban several of them for terms of service violations. So yeah, I guess I'll talk about Thatcher's Techbase.
The aim of this government is to make everyone as miserable as possible.
Listen, among all the extremely offensive stuff that the team at Bethesda probably has to stay on top of, this doesn't really move the needle that much. The main issue here is that Bethesda just doesn't want any mods that have anything to do with politics. It's honestly kind of a nothing burger, but I'm definitely going to use the clickbait anyways, because I don't care. Sometimes, unfortunately, as a Canadian, I am reciprocally tied to the United Kingdom and basically everything surrounding its culture, politics, and, of course, the monarchy. I mean, we've had the Queen our money for a long time if you want some direct evidence to us belonging to this supposed Commonwealth. Right now, it feels like we're either just waiting to see if we need to print a bunch of 20s with King Charles on them, or, you know, maybe we'll just wait for the next guy. Or maybe Justin Trudeau in the meantime will find a way to put his face on him. Listen, even if you like him, and not many do, I'll tell you that for free, you know the man is a true narcissist. I mean, he wouldn't say no to the idea. This Commonwealth of countries does inexplicably tie the other nations to British culture and traditional norms, even if that culture is sometimes whatever the hell this is. Like, I know this is kind of a morbid thing to bring up, but I distinctly remember the Princess Diana stuff having a profound effect on people back here in the 90s, even if I was like 11 when it happened. So yeah, even if some of us are on the other side of the planet, we're still paying attention, I guess. So, Margaret Thatcher. She was kinda divisive, and I feel very generous saying that. But she was ultimately relatively simple to sum up. She maybe saved a failing economy at the expense of, well, a massive and unprecedented generational wealth shift, completely decimating the British working class in her wake. This was, of course, the brand of austerity known as Thatcherism. She also helmed the UK for an actual war, so I guess that's cool or something. I gotta say though, Harriers are pretty dope. She then became so hated by her own party that they got rid of her. And then when she died, the celebrations of her death severely ratioed the memorials which mourned her. Believe it or not, over a decade ago, before the insanity that is modern social media, it really did take a lot for people to enthusiastically and very actively celebrate a politician's death. And boy did they celebrate. So of course, that deep-rooted hate is obviously what's going on here with Thatcher's Techbase. Anyways, our story here starts with you having a pint and a smoke break with the lads. One of the true pleasures in life, I'll admit. Nothing goes together quite like a beer and a dart. However, soon after this, it seems as though something has gone horribly wrong here, and it appears there's been some kind of containment breach or something. The dead speak. The world has heard a mysterious broadcast, a threat of revenge in the sinister voice of the late Baroness Margaret Thatcher. Faced with the return of one of humanity's greatest threats, you have no choice but to head to the 10th circle of hell, which of course is the UK. Time to investigate the underworld fortress known as Thatcher's Techbase. So the game itself is a fine Doom WOD, with a bunch of new enemy sprite sounds and wall textures. However, it doesn't deviate too far from the standard set here. All of your enemies, even if they remain the same as they were in Doom, they are now Tory blue, of course. Really liked how the standard shotgun was replaced with the Winchester here, really nice touch. Even though the full lever action animation isn't apparent if you're running the standard OG Doom HUD, oh well. Of course, we've got Thatcher's face slapped onto the obvious culprits here, with her replacing both the Cyber Demon and the Spider Mastermind. Plus, the Thatcher archvile is particularly nightmare-inducing. Felt like there was an opportunity missed here without having her appear in the Mecha Hitler suit from Wolf 3D, though this did pop up as an Easter egg of sorts in the secret level. Totally missed opportunity, bud. There's a couple nods to classic Doom levels along the way here, which is fun, along with a ton of Doom cute stuff. I don't actually know how hard this stuff is to do, but for what it's worth, this was apparently the developer's first attempt at making a Doom map at all, which is just tremendous. Obviously, you've got a lot of British themed stuff here and period relevant posters and Tory political ads, plus the graffiti to go along with it. Final part of the level is like one of those ones where you kind of just got to hit up IDDQD first to actually figure out what the hell you're supposed to be doing here. I'm not going to spoil it, but I'll definitely say that it wasn't exactly obvious, and the giant difficulty spike was, well, abrupt, even if I feel like I'm underselling that a bit. Beyond the intro level and a secret level, the majority of this game is packed into a single sprawling level with a monster count of almost 1,000 and a secret count north of 50. It's honestly super impressive that this is all packed into a single level, like really superb level design here. That said though, I don't think it would have been that big of a deal to maybe split this thing up into a couple maps. This feels like a trend with Doom mapping over the last couple of years, with some notable Jeezy Doom based games like Supplice having just absolutely massive levels. I mean, having multiple levels you had to finish on a map screen was a core game design element of the original Doom. That original concept really worked well at the time, of course, and could have given some extra depth here. In response to what I assume were some concerns with this, or maybe just an appeal to reason and brevity, there was an arcade version of the game released. As far as I could tell from playing it, the only major changes were a bump up in the DPS of the weapons to make dispatching enemies a bit more trivial, and getting rid of the need for keys. The enemy distribution was changed a bit, and some changes to the level were made, but overall it was kind of weird. Just, I don't know, after playing the original, not gonna lie, I think I actually ended up soft locking myself because a door I needed to backtrack through was locked by a key, but I didn't have any keys. Maybe I missed something here.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm kind of retarded.
This arcade version was actually made into a proper arcade cabinet for what I think was some kind of art or culture exhibit, which was not surprisingly very Labour themed politically as far as I could tell. There's an infamous video of former Labour Party leader Jeremy Corbyn giving it a go, which is honestly just pretty wholesome. It even got memed into another mod that I swear will probably never be released at this point, called Duke Schmoochem. A mod I already know I will just not even understand even 5% of the references in it. You know, British culture is just too much for me at this point. I grew up on Fawlty Towers, Mr. Bean, and Top Gear, and well, that's about all I got to reference as an adult. So at the end of the day, Thatcher's Techbase is dedicated to everyone that Margaret Thatcher hated, and everyone who hated Margaret Thatcher. Again, it's really hard to understate just how despised this woman was. The developer himself said in an interview that the idea of scouring the depths of hell for her was an eternal source of inspiration, which is about as Doom as it gets as far as I'm concerned. As a Canadian, I'm used to British-style politics being simple wars of words. It's fine to vehemently hate someone else in politics because at least we're not shooting each other. The fact that Bethesda banned this from the Re-Remaster is actually not that big of a deal. Like I opened with, it was based on the fact that they just, didn't want any political mods. Which is fine, I could totally respect that. We all know just how deranged modern political discussion is at this point. Besides, even if it's banned from the official release, this mod is still available to anyone that wants to download it, because it's the internet. Sorry, you won't be able to play it on your Switch or PlayStation or whatever, but I mean, pretty much everything else runs Doom at this point, so I'm sure you'll figure it out. That is ultimately the beauty of the open and accessible nature of the Doom modding community. I'm honestly glad that Thatcher's Techbase exists and that people are free to express themselves in ways like this. Free speech is something that should always be cherished, because it's an important part of modern society that we're able to create and celebrate Doom mods, even if they are essentially dancing on someone's grave. Thanks for watching.